Hello everyone, you are welcome to part 2 of Excel reference. So I'm starting with range. What do we mean by a range? A range is made up of two or more cells. So when I select more than a cell, I'm talking about a range. When I select more than one column and I select this, we are talking about a range. As long as I have selected more than one cell, I am talking about a range. How do we reference a range? Now, if I want to reference this selected range I have here, what I need to state is the leftmost upper cell where I have this yellow color. Then I put a colon. Then I give the reference of the bottom right cell, which is where I am here. So it means if I want to give the reference of where I selected there, I will say D40 colon F44. So if I want to sum everything inside this place together, what do? I use equality sign, then I say sum, I open my bracket, then instead of me typing, I could just select. Selection is better, it goes straight to the reference you need. Instead of you typing it, you can select and you have your reference. So if I press enter now, so it's telling me that the summation of everything in this range is 20,207.45. That is how we reference a range. Let's say we want to reference an entire row or an entire column. As I have said before, when we talk about a row is denoted by numbers. So if I want to state, if I want to sum, or I want to do anything to an entire row, so what it means is that I will just state the row number, put a colon, then I repeat that same row number. For example, this row 48 here. So if I want to sum it together, it's going to be sum of 48 colon 48. You could see it's been selected for me. So and I close the bracket, I press enter. So the summation of the value in this place is 7,9,313.16, and that's the summation. If I want to do the same thing with column, what I need to do, column is denoted by alphabet. So I just need to repeat the alphabet again. Let's say I want to add this column G together. I want to add everything, entire column here. So what do I need to use? I will just say is equal to, since it's column G, let's say I want to sum it. I talk about open sum, then I type G, then column G again. You could see Excel has even helped me select everything. So I close the bracket and I press enter. So the summation of everything in this column from beginning to the end is 8 million plus. Let's imagine I want to add more than one rows. What do I need to do? Let's say I want to add from 43 to 46. So what I will do is to use my summation, the summation I want to find out. I want to find everything inside the summation of 43 up to row 46. So, and if you see, by the time I entered it, Excel has selected it for me. I could come as well and select everything, but I can type this way. And what next? I close my bracket, I press enter. Then I have the summation of this entire row, everything in the rows, the row 43, row 44, row 45, and 46, everything I have summed it together, and this is the value. If I want to do the same thing to F, how do I go about it? Let's say I want to sum everything in column F to H. What I need to do is just to separate the beginning column and the last column by column. So if you are summing C today, you get this value. You could see the way it is entered. So it is sum into C colon D, and we close the bracket. So this will take us to cross-referencing and linking of cells in another book. How can I reference another worksheet, or how can I reference another workbook? This is what we're going to be looking at. If I am in the same Excel workbook and I'm looking at another sheet, I'm doing a kind of cross-referencing. So when I want to reference, what we've been doing is telling all the work we have been doing, they are referenced in the same Excel worksheet. But if I want to reference another work sheet, then there'll be a slight difference in the way I reference. If you look at it now, let's say I want to reference this sheet 1 and sheet 1 B3. What I have there is happiness. So if I want to do that, I press equality sign, then go to sheet 1. So let me click anywhere here. Let me click this 10,000. So once I press enter, what do I have? I have 10,000 here. But you see the way I reference it. The reference here is giving you the sheet name. This one is sheet 1, so you have sheet 1, then A5. So before sheet 1 you have asterisk, you have exclamation mark. That mark tells you that this reference is not on the same worksheet, and the sheet name you have there is telling you that for you to get to A3, you need to get to sheet 1 first, then you can now get to A3. That is where you see the value I have here. So that's how I can link another worksheet. So if I want to link anything, I don't need to decide myself. I want to link anything, I just click where I want the value to show, press equality sign. I can go anywhere in this workbook and go and click anywhere. So let's say I click, I want to see the salary here of Wale. I could click this value and press enter. So every time now I have taken the value in assumption sheets to this place. I've linked it. So whatever value is there is going to show in this Excel worksheet. So if the value changes there, then it will change here. That's how we can link one worksheet another. Just press equality sign, then go and click wherever you want to link, and you have your value. Now if I actually want to link another workbook, everything I've done now is inside one workbook. So if there's another workbook that I want to link, how do I go about it? For example, if you look at what I have here, you will see that this is not the same workbook, because you could see the address of the location of the Excel workbook is showing. So meaning that I link it to another place. So the same thing, the same principle. What do I need to do? I will let me do a new one. Let me insert a new workbook. This is a new workbook, and let's call this reference. So if I am here and I want to link anything in the new workbook, so what do? I will press equality sign, then go to the workbook. So if it's A1 here, I click A1, I press enter. If you watch it, there is no value in A1, that's why it's saying 0. So let's say now I input 1000 here. If I go back, I will see that it's showing 1000. So I have linked another workbook to the present workbook that I'm working on. So that is how to link even a cell in another workbook, and it's pretty simple. One thing you will notice here is that the reference you have here, this reference is carrying the name of the workbook, then it's carrying the name of the worksheet, then it's now carrying the location of the cell I link. So you could see that where I have where I'm looking at another worksheet, Excel gave me the name of worksheet, then followed by exclamation mark, then followed by reference, cell reference, address. So the same thing when I'm looking at another workbook, Excel will give me the name of the workbook, like what I just did here. You could see the name of the workbook in curly, in square bracket, then followed by the name of the worksheet, then followed by exclamation mark, then followed by Excel reference, which is A1. This has $sign. We will get to that later, and you will see the reason why you have a $sign there. So that's all about cross-referencing and linking of cells in another book. Let's quickly look at circular reference in Excel. Now, circular reference in Excel, what do you mean by circular reference? A circular reference occurs when a cell is referenced in the same cell, directly or indirectly. For example, I want to get a value. The value I want to get, I include that value I want to get in my calculation, then there'll be a problem. Take for example, I want to add 210 together, 200 plus 10. In my answer here, where I have 670 to 671, if I mistakenly include this row 72 in my summation, yes, I want to sum 670 to 671. If I mistakenly include the cell where I want to put my answer, then it becomes a circular error. This is a circular error because it's including the value, and you could see that the answer you have here, it doesn't make any sense. It's not correct because something is not right. I'm going to get 210. So this is a circular error. Now if you go to Excel option here, why he hasn't complained is that I have enabled iteration. So if this is not selected, as I did that, it should have given me this error that there are one or more circular references where a formula refers to its own cell, either directly or indirectly. So this might cause them to calculate incorrectly, and like I said, you could see that what is here is not correct, and Excel is there, try removing or changing these references or moving the formula to different cell. Okay, so now this is wrong. Now you can see it's giving me 0, and Excel has prompted that there's a circular error. If I don't know where the error is, I could go to formula tab, then go to error checking. There I will see circular reference. I will click it, and Excel takes me exactly to where the error is. So what do I need to do? I just find out, oh, I have included my answer in my calculation, so I remove it and I change it to 71, and now I have my correct value. So that's how to resolve circular error in case we have it. So however, sometimes circular errors can be deliberate. I could do it deliberately, but we must avoid it by all means. Let's imagine let's say I want to add my expense together. I have expense A, expense B, and my expense B, I want it to be 1/3 of my total expense. It should be 1/3 of my total expense. So how do I go about it? So if I'm doing my budget and I know expense A to be 300, and at the end of the day, whatever my total expense is, I want expense B to be 1/3 of my total expense. It means if I had said I wanted to sum this together, so it means I will have done this. I will have summed 300 and expense under B together. But here, what I did here to say, okay, the value I want to use here, I want it to be 1/3 of my final answer, which I've done here. Excel is complaining. He's saying circular error. But I want to achieve that is what I want to achieve. What I need to do to go back to my Excel option. Under Excel option, I go to formula. From formula, I enable iterative calculation. When I do this, Excel will allow me to do this, and you could see it's correct. What I have as expense B is 1/3 of 450, and if I add the two together, I'll get 450 naira. So which is correct, which is one thing that I want to achieve. But I have used the answer I've not got, I've used it in my calculation, which is a circular error. This one is indirect. The first one I did here, the last one was direct. This one is indirect, but is also a circular error. However, because I want it now, I've turned it not to be a circular error because I'm doing it intentionally. So, and it's correct. So I could leave it this way and I move on. So, but it's always very nice before you use this. If you want to use it, you use it last after you are through with everything in Excel, so that if you make a mistake, Excel will prompt you and you can correct it. But if I change it from beginning, if I make a circular error in this my calculation, Excel will not warn me again, then there will be a problem. So that is all about circular reference. Then we move to 3D reference. What do we call 3D reference? Most of the times when we want to add things together, we just add different cells inside one Excel worksheet together and we move on. However, sometimes I might want to add different Excel worksheets together. I want to aggregate the value and I want to use just one formula, one function. If I do this and I achieve it, what I have done is called 3-dimension reference. Let's say I have a report where I have January to December. How do I go about it? January to December, and I want to add everything together from January to December. Do I need to be clicking sheet by sheet? I don't need to do that. There is a better way. The only thing I need to ensure is that whatever I have in January, February, March, and up to December, they must be in the same format, they must be in the same location. So for example, let's say my sales for January is entered in cell A1. The sale for the sale for February must also be entered in A1 in February, so that when I add all A1 together, it will give me total sales for the. And how do we go about it? The first thing, you select the cell where you want the aggregate value to be stored and type the function you desire. If you want to do summation, you say is equal to sum. Then you select the tab of the first worksheet you intend to include in your aggregation. 3. While holding the shift key, you select the tab of the last worksheet to be included. Now, number 4, select the cell or range you want to aggregate and press enter key. you should note that the worksheet to be aggregated must be in the same structure for this function to work. So let's look at it. Let me show you one I've already prepared. We have this is summary. So I have from January to December, and you could see that all of them, they are in the same format. They started from the same column, the same row, so that if I want to add what Ade has done, you could see I can have the same. So all of them, even though they have different values, they occupy the same position in this different worksheet. So what do? I will create a summary worksheet having the same structure. So what do? Let me remove the values I've already inputted. So what I say is that since all of them have the same format, I select where I want to do the summation, which is equal to this is equal to sum, open my bracket, then go to the first worksheet where I want to start to add together, and that is January. I click January. After clicking January, I press Shift, then I go to the last worksheet that I want to add together, which is December. I click it. You could see that everything has been grouped. So I am on the last worksheet now. So I will now click Sales. So when I click Sales, you could see Excel has picked it, and you could see here that Excel has done something. I said sum January colon December. Here you see that it's giving you exclamation mark C4. So meaning that it's adding from January to December, it's adding C4 altogether. So when I'm through, I close my bracket and I press enter. What Step has done is that it has added everything from January to December, and the reference I have here is called 3D reference. So I can drag down. So it's going to pick everything in all the worksheets and the same thing down to this place, and I can have an aggregated summary. So this one is the total for the year. If I go this place, what I have here is only for the month ended, which is January. This is for February. But when I come here, I have used 3D function to bring everything together, and that is how we use the 3D function. I hope that is clear. So let's go to range name reference. Sometimes instead of us using A1 or R1C1 method, I can give a name to a cell. So anytime I want to call upon that cell, I will use the name that are given to the cell or a range of cells. So let's say I have month January, February this way, and my cell for this period is here. Two ways. I could do summation of this first, I sum this as well. So what I have here is total sales, and what I have here is total expense. I've already created expense before, that's why it's giving you to see Excel is saying sales. So what I have here is total sales. So how did I do this? What I do is to select, what I did here was to select sales, my total sales there. I selected these two, then I go to name box. This place is called name box. Then I give it sales, and it becomes sales. So when I come here, instead of me even typing age 95 to 96, I just use sales and I have my value. Let me do a new one. Let's say I have rent, and I have utility. Yeah. So my rent, let's say we have 56 and this is 98. This is 55 and this is 99. Now, if I, instead of being referring to this cell using A1 reference style or whatever, I could give it a name so that instead of me using this, I can call up the name. So I could say, okay, this two is rent, and I come to this place, I select this, I come to name box and I type rent. So what happens is that Excel has stored this as rent. So anytime I call upon rent, Excel will give me these two cells. So this as well, I can select and come to name box and type utility. I press enter. When I do this, Excel as well has stored utility. Excel has given these two cells a name called utility. So if I want to do a sum of rent anywhere, can stay in anywhere and say is equal to sum of rent. I just type rent. Excel has identified the place and I press enter. I can say I want sum of utility. I will say sum of utility and type utility, and Excel will even show me the name, and I can close the brackets and I have the value for it. So if I change this one as well, you will see Excel sees that I've changed it. So instead of being referring to a cell, I can call up upon the name and I have it. I could as well here do so many things. I could give the name, I can even give a name to just a cell and I refer to that cell. For example, what I have here, this is profit. So after I've subtracted sales, I subtracted expenses from sale. So I could say this is profit. So I select the cell, I go to name box here, I type profit. So anywhere I call profit, I can say is equal to profit. Excel knows what profit is and it's going to give me. You could see that is how we use Excel name. That's a way of using a name. That's a way of storing names. You can as well go to formula and do the same thing. Under formula, you see name manager, and you can do you can see all the names you created, they are here. So you want to do a new one, you can do as well. For example, let's say I want to give a name to this header. I want to call it header. Month sales expense. I could say okay, header. Then I will now go and select where I want to give a name. If it's this place, I select this place. Then I come back and I say okay. So, and it's done. Then I can close this. So anytime I type header is equal to header, you could see header is here now and it's referring to this place. Don't worry that it's not showing everything, but that's how it's done. So if I type header is equal to header, so you can see that it's showing, give me the header. Don't worry how I did this. This is array and array formula. You can see I type header and everything came out. So that's how you can use your name instead of using even cell reference. You can use range name reference to refer to a cell or a range of cells. I hope this is clear to all of us. So this is the end of part 2 of Excel reference. So I'll be expecting you for the last lesson on Excel reference. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks and God bless.